we're gonna do the intro now.
Am I
I
also
just
doing
need a
the
long
part in?
pause. No, that's okay. I mean, you could just say hi when I say your name. That's it.
Okay, okay,
You don't have to say it.
so
You
I'm
don't have to
listening to the
say.
horseman.
I need like a long pause so I can like cut this up, right? This is definitely gonna go in like the intro part before the intro. 100%. Alright guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. Today, I actually have a guest with me. You saw him in the last one. Hopefully that one is salvageable, and I like it enough. If not, my live viewers are able to see that. Again, link to that will be down in the description, and I still don't have clickable links, and I can't add it quite yet because it's a new account, but link to that is down there if you want to copy and paste it. I'm not going to bother saying it. But yes, today's guest again is Kenboy1002.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on your Sims Talk.
I don't have a name for this podcast. Thank you for coming on. If you want to even call it a podcast, this is just me just talking.
That's what a podcast is. It's just talking, rambling for 40
The
minutes.
smart. That's that's why you're the
That's
smart one.
well, if I'm the smart one. Oh my, holy hell!
If you're down there anyway, looking at the Twitch link, if you can give the video a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe if you like it. This is, again, nothing too crazy, just having something in the background. We were actually talking just a bit beforehand, kind of about like future content, so if you're interested in hearing about that, this might be the one for you. To kind of jump into that, your question on, well, this is going to be the Steve and Steven story.
How did it begin? Tell me, where did it
That
all start?
it all started the day I was born.
Uh-huh.
No, for me, at least when it comes to, do you want like the chronological order, sort of? I'm not going to go into too much detail, like I mentioned, but I'll mention again here. I am going to be making an actual dedicated video. I'm going to have a script written up and everything for that, but did you want to start with Steve, or did you want to start with Steven?
Yeah, we can start with Steve.
So for Steve, actually, it kind of began on Mixer. That's where it first started. I know I previously said, but I'll repeat it again here. I started off there, kind of like with the follow for follow community. That's something that caught my eye, and I liked bigger numbers. So going from 0 to 15 followers, I think that was my highest on that platform. It seemed really appealing to me. I'm like, oh, cool, I can grow here. But usually the follow for follow doesn't last very long, and people don't go to each other's streams. You know how you basically know how it works. And eventually, on one of my for you, let's call it for you page, I got recommended this random streamer who I won't really name because that's again too specific, and I don't want to name this individual quite yet or at all. They had like giveaway something along the lines of that happening now or every 5 minutes in the stream or something, and I was like, oh, that seems kind of cool. And this particular streamer was like giving away their in-game current, not in-game, in-chat currency, actual. At the time, there's I think Fortnite had been pretty popular as it still is, but
And it's
um,
Prime.
yeah,
Type.
pretty much. It felt like it was its prime. They were giving away V-Bucks and stuff like that and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. So I joined. I think I hung around for like a day or two. And then this person, the streamer, actually just randomly gave me mod for that channel, which is freaking funny. Because I think I was not even like 3 days into being a normal viewer. And there were people that I'm pretty sure who had been there longer than me. But Steve was also there, and I saw that he was a moderator for this streamer as well. So one day I just decided to click on Steve's profile, and the rest is history. I won't go into details afterwards because I want to save that for the actual video, but that's kind of where it began with Steve. It was pretty interesting though. I didn't really expect to kind of steamroll into knowing Steve like that, because eventually, as I'll later include in a future video, oh my god.
Yeah, I forgot those bills.
Now, the Steven side of everything. I actually met Steven through Steve. I'm gonna have to like really sit down and remember how it happened, but the same platform was still on Mixer. Steven knew of Steve and everything like that, and they were pretty good friends, it seemed. And, I followed Steven, and I never talked to Steven again for like a year. I took a little break. I was starting work at that time, and in my previous videos, with my timeline video, um, around the retail job I started, actually, when I finished that or left that job, I started coming around to Steve and Steven's streams. I know it sounded like one word, Steve and Steven, just for clarification, because they were still both streaming at that time.
You were part of a Roblox group.
Now, I know Roblox is kind of like a touchy subject right now.
Oh, this was
Um,
like, by the way, everybody, this is like, what, 8 years ago? Like a very long time ago.
yeah, I joined this like a very, very long time
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, this was before a lot of the more recent issues. Not saying that they were ever not existent. They were still existent on the platform. It wasn't in the spotlight as it is now. It was like more like a community game. It was around the SCP genre, and if you don't know what SCP is, it's kind of like an anomalous containment, I wouldn't say company, but entity that found anomalous things, objects, people, animals, and try to learn from it. And it was just a bunch of like cryptid stories, essentially. That is the SCP lore for this particular Roblox game. It was community based. That means everyone had a role to play. For security, there was like a security department with people in ranks. For logistics, there was a logistics team. For containment breaches, there was a task force to contain them again. And when you first joined the game, you were considered Class D, or kind of like the prisoners, but test subjects at the same time. There was a scientific department, an energy or a technical department, and there's just a bunch of other things in the very beginning. I kind of grew to kind of fall in love with the game because of just the engagement, and there's a lot of people playing it at that time. Of course, there was still like things you could buy in game, like guns and all this other stuff with like Robux or whatever have you. Eventually, I decided to join and actually took a break. So first, I joined. You kind of had to submit like application, and it was just asking simple questions. It's pretty much asking 1+1 type questions, and what does that equal? And if you answered 3, then you're dumb. You're not gonna get in. But certain departments had, we're gonna call them departments, but certain groups had like a certain rank requirement. So you started off as Class D. You can apply for level 0, which is like everyone else. There is level 2, level 3, 4, and 5, and then there's O5, I think. I believe that's how it was. I might double check myself. That was the whole rank system. The applications only extended up to, at that time, level 3, before you had to join a department to be, to rank up in it and get a higher rank, or what they called an HR.
Oh, by the way, everybody, this was roleplay.
There's no reason to do the things I'm doing. This is just a game that I took out of my time to play, be part of. The scientists were quote-unquote testing anomalous entities, testing out certain things. It's funny, they even had an ethics committee, and I'll I'll get into that a little later. But I at first took an interest in logistics and security. I got into security as a recruit because you go recruit, trainee, guard, and then you can specialize into certain. There was ERU, which was emergency response units. There was SSU, it was security something unit, and then there's ARU, auxiliary recontainment unit. So ARU was like the guys that recontained, but they had to ask permission to join them to do that, and they actually did that in game. They had like a radio that you can ask the department that specializes in recontainment of those game entities, and they had to ask like, hey, can we help you do that? And sometimes 99% of the time they got denied. They straight up said no. SSU was kind of like a guarding enforcement of like rules and stuff. And then ERU was like a riot suppression group. So they had like an LMG, more health. They had like a few debuffs, like they can't run as fast. And like there's a whole armor system in the game and everything. It was surprisingly detailed enough for a Roblox game. I was kind of impressed by it. And then there's your typical ranking. There's going from like the top down from what I can remember. There's 05, director, assistant director, and then like your level 4 people, which are considered HRs, like I just previously mentioned. For the security, it was officer, lieutenant. I might get the order mixed up, so I apologize if I do. Some other stuff, and they had to be, in order to get those ranks, you had to you had to be a part of those like auxiliary specialized units essentially. I didn't get past the recruitment stage because uh, well, I'll explain in a moment. But as a recruit, all you had was a pistol. And they didn't give you like the better gun, which was like a P90, until you got trainee. And to be a trainee, you had to go to quote unquote combat training, which is they just put you in like a PvP setting, and they just judge based off of like how much damage you did. And if you didn't meet the minimum requirement, you just don't get past. The other department, I was in logistics. Logistics was a little different. It's not quite security. You're not shooting anything, and there was rules against shooting, by the way. Like there's actual rules you had to follow and all this other stuff. Rules and guidelines to play as like a civilian in that. I don't remember 100% of the line. I wouldn't say lineup, but like the hierarchy for it. But it was like trainee, transporter, senior transporter, some other stuff. And all you did was grab a box from their hangar-like place that respawns occasionally, and you have a limited number you can carry, and go refill donuts or soup or whatever else, like items that can disappear over time. If someone clicks on it, they would get it in their inventory, and it would be one item missing. You can only refill it, I think, if it was like halfway or something. I think I got up to transporter or trainee as well, which is like one of the lower ranks. And I left because I think I forgot the password or something. Or I just had a job and I was just couldn't be bothered to play a Roblox game. That was pretty much it for like a solid year or two, year and a half. And then I came back to the game. And that's where kind of things took off a little better. I was a little older at that time. I saw that I wasn't in any of those groups, and I'm like, yep, that makes sense. I got kicked because after a certain time, there's quota checks, which there are quotas for each departments or requirements. In the beginning, it was, when I first joined, it was like one minor department and one major department, I think, or two minor, or just one or two majors or whatever. When I came back, it just was whatever quota you could handle. A majority of the quotas were either point based or time based. The ones that I joined logistics first, like the very beginning, because I it was the easiest department to get um, ranked up in. It was damn near impossible to get a high rank, just because high rank is level 4, medium is level 3 at this time, low rank is level 2 and below. It was the easiest one to get medium rank in because it was just point system, and I think you can get medium rank in like a week, maybe less than. I've seen people do it in like days, and I'm like, you are literally addicted to this game. When it came to getting the medium rank, I kind of just sat around and just hung around for the most part, and high ranks for that department was kind of hard to come by. Not because of the scarcity, but because the moment you get a high rank in that department, nobody wanted to leave it. Because you got a high rank, no one wants to do anything else. Even in the assistant director, director, in the O5, which is like the highest person, there was like no movement at all. Eventually, some time passed, and I wanted to branch out. I took security again. That was a small little period of time. They reworked, if you want to call it that. They restructured how to get trainee and all this other stuff. I got into trainee, and then I requested to leave because I was like, I can't play this for like, I think the minimum was like 120 minutes, 2 hours. The head dude, which was like the second person in command of, let's say, was in command of the group, made the quotas 120 minutes, and that was for like combative, quote unquote combative departments like security, like the containment team, which are called MTF, mobile task forces. The second in command person um, made the requirement, I think, to be like 180 minutes for like 3 hours for the MTF, but security had like 120 or something. And I was like, no, I can't. I can't dedicate enough time to this. I'm not a PvP person on Roblox. I could care less for it. It's literally Roblox. This is just not for me. Eventually, they had openings for the ethics committee. And it's funny because they had actual interviews, like straight up interviews, on like a random private server. And I got interviewed by some dude, and eventually, long story short, I didn't get picked. But the head person who was running the ethics committee had stepped away, or let's say retired, because that's what they do. Um, it's kind of corny. I know, I get it. And the next person that took their spot, she went back on a lot of the candidates, and she actually reached out to me, offering me a position in the team, essentially. I was like, yes, I want to do this. And I went through the whole process. I had to do like investigative work, quote unquote. Like, it was more so Discord paperwork stuff than it was in-game stuff. For the in-game stuff, I kind of had to be like the police. Uh, I had to like view the Foundation personnel, make sure they're not breaking the rules. I had to view combative people, make sure they're not, escalating and shooting people randomly. And I had to gather evidence of whatever they broke and whatever have you. But there was two subcommittees. There was the investigative and the judicial. I got into the judicial side, and that is more so. So, for example, say you, Kenboy, say you broke a rule, and it was a pretty serious rule. I cuffed you in game, which we had like infinite range cuff, and um,
Hacking.
we pretty much, if you want to call it that, sure. Um, we'd have you in this like pair of cuffs, and we just ask you like, make you aware of, hey, you broke this rule. Like, make sure you don't do that moving forward, etc., etc., etc. I caught you breaking a very serious rule. Say you shot another Foundation member with a pistol and killed them or whatever, and I cuffed you and said like, are you aware that Foundation personnel are not allowed to use force like that or whatever?
Oh, yes.
I would get that response. I would include that in the evidence, and I'd send that. No, I would first put it into the Google Doc, because there's a Google Doc with this too, by the way. Um, like it got way too serious for what it was, and it was so freaking corny. Yeah, there's a whole list of the name of the person, name of the offender, what they did, evidence of what they did, and all this other stuff. And that was the investigation committee side of everything. For the judicial, which was a committee I was a part of, our subcommittee, we came up with we came up with the judgment. So coming back to that same story, you're level 4. You broke the rule and you were aware of it. Depending on the severity, like you said, like I said, it was shooting personnel and you killed the person. We would either give you something what they call a black mark, which means this is against your record in the group, and dependent on how many black marks you get, you can either get a Class E sentence, which is different from Class D. A Class E sentence is what everyone likes to dub a free vacation, because you are basically put in timeout for however long. 3 days, a week would be max, a day would be like least. Or you're Foundation blacklisted, which means you won't be able, you can still play the game in the sense of you can riot as a Class D, like shoot guns and stuff like that and just be a nuisance. And you can't join the Foundation again. So you can't apply as a level 0 and then try to join that way. Or they just outright ban you from the game. The goal was to have 0 black marks, nothing against your record, and some of the other departments would either inquire, like their HRs would inquire, like, hey, does this person have a black mark? And we would say yes. And they would just say thank you, or whatever, because they're not supposed to have one to join that department. Another aspect in game that we could do outside of watching if people were breaking rules is making sure that the scientists were making the tests ethical. This is a Roblox game, might I add.
Oh, I'm gonna have a long opinion about this after.
So we'd approach the scientist. Hey, what are you testing? Why are you testing? They give their reason. We see within the guidelines of the ethics committee science department agreement, I think, or the rules or whatever, and deem it either ethical or unethical. If it's unethical, we have to completely stop it, tell them to put the Class D back, and cancel the test. If it was ethical, we can be funny and stress them out, which is why we mostly did that, and witness what they're doing to the Class D, and that was pretty much it. For my entire time being in that department, it was consisting of just me doing Discord stuff. I got up to a middle rank, a pretty high middle rank. They shifted it over to where the middle ranks were kind of like the person to see the document. I mean, we all could see the document, but I got to see it first, and I get to make up a whole thing like, hey, this is their name, this is the offense, this is my recommended or suggested punishment, and then we all vote if the punishment is good or not. If it's not, I would say if it was giving them 2 black marks, max you can have is 3. For your case, I'd say 2. They said no, that's too harsh, and I drop it down to 1, and then they'd agree on it, and then that would be the punishment served. Someone or myself would DM you the reason why you're getting DM'd. But that was basically my time with the ethics committee. What is your opinion on that?
If you're Okay, let me finish all of this before you say anything. If people are taking RP like this, not wrestling Roblox, like in any game, this seriously, your life is fucking pathetic. Get off the internet. It's not serious. It is a fucking game. It is not that serious. There's nothing wrong with RPing, okay? It's fine. You know, it could be fun. But if you're taking it like a second day job, get a life. You need help. Like all
And
those extra steps in that game, it's fucking Roblox.
so there is a few like departments I didn't mention. There's a reason why I didn't mention them. A lot of people use the ethics committee as like a beginning to get into this one of these other teams. So there's a team called ISD, Internal Security Department, and then there's another team called, well, they don't really have a name. It's just literally a question mark. I don't know why the ethics committee is so serious the way it is, and it's kind of dumb, and everyone in those other departments meme on them because of it. Like, it is actually kind of funny. I got into ISD, Internal Security Department, and one dude said, he told me in a voice call, he said, "You're welcome, dude. I got you in because I vouched for you because you were in the ethics committee," and I'm like, okay, thanks, I guess.
I'll take a
Um,
bullet for you, bro. Thanks, man.
but that whole process was a little interesting. It was corny, and the dude even who runs it is like, yeah, we know this is corny, but this is just proving to see if you can keep your mouth shut. Your answers did not matter in this like little test period. But that is, I'm way down the line with that. We'll come back to that. What they mainly wanted to join ethics committee because they think it was an opportunity to get into one of these departments. Now the ISD is the more relaxed version of ethics. They're more of like a quote unquote edgier um, kind of department. You have to not interact with people in the game. You have to speak only in team chat unless you're interrogating, quote unquote, interrogating someone, which is still a little too much. You're looking at um, chat logs of the server to make sure no one's quote unquote leaking and making sure they're following the guideline. There's this feature in the game where you can classify depending on what department, rank, etc. you're in, but you can classify your name or hide your name. And if someone recognizes you, says your name, and you're on that team, the person who's classified can kill them as like a punishment for saying it. Or if you want to be petty enough, you can actually catch them and hold them accountable to that. People believed or had this idea that because you joined the ethics committee, those departments are looking in that area to see how good you were in it. In hindsight, I can understand why. And again, this is all just RP standpoint. I can understand why. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's just if they like you or not. It's not like a friend group or anything like that, because I don't know any of the people that's in there. I still don't, even after all this time. They just had this thought that because I'm in basically what is in code enforcement, I can be a part of the police essentially. And I'm like, okay. I was still in logistics at this time, and I was just in that department still, a middle rank. I have not leveled up to a higher rank. I got promoted to like a middle rank that can check if check off points for other people to rank up. I wasn't in that rank before. I didn't have a quota anymore. I just had check off here and there, and that's it. But since that was my only quote unquote department, and that didn't really require me to go in game, I was just on top of that all the time. Then eventually they had to, in preparation for the new game, they had to get rid of a department because people had been in there for years. Now, I don't know how many at this time, but I'm guessing like 4 or 5 years in the whole department. Like, people kept leaving and coming in the lower levels, but the higher up, Like the top three people did not move. They didn't even play the game as much anymore. So they didn't see a reason to keep them around for the next one. So my leading theory is they got rid of that structure in the department or that group so they can get rid of those people who are just sitting around not doing anything. They merged logistics and the technical, which are like the engineers, and the technical department was also funny. I did join them for a little bit. I failed to mention that. But they did, get this, there's a whole lighting system in the game that is reliant on generators in the game as well. There's the main lights, and then there is the emergency lights. And the emergency lights are activated by the generators. There's safeguards like coolants and stuff like that. You can run tests, and it was pretty elaborate where like you had to turn off the safeguards, you have to turn off the generators. A lot of it was just timing, essentially. And it was so freaking funny because I was kind of one of the only active middle ranked people in logistics. I automatically got a high rank in this merge, and other people weren't so lucky. I had no idea what to do for any of the tests that the technical department did because I was barely in it. I barely got past like the testing phase, and I just mainly focused on the logistics. It was funny because people lower than me were asking like, "Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? When am I allowed to do this? Can I do that?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you." Then eventually the new game came out. The new game was kind of fun. This part in the my time in the game was kind of like dead. I just stuck around to hang out with people. I didn't do so much in the game itself other than just help make documents or any guidelines for the department. I didn't do anything per se. I just helped give like some opinions on it. I helped edit here and there. That's pretty much it. And to this point, the original owner of the game had stepped away and said he had no longer wanted to make any more content for it because now it kind of got to the point where, you know, the generation that grew up playing it are kind of getting older. The new generation of players aren't really geared towards
Yeah.
group games anymore. That's more so of like quick cash grabs and tung tung sahur. So he basically made an announcement saying like he had no future plans for the game. And then I think like a month or two after that, someone had offered to buy the game. They are now the rightful owner of the whole group. He's made like a bunch of promises and stuff like that. To be quite honest with you, I haven't seen anything change quite yet. There's been a lot of like reformatting in the Discord and even in the group, but I haven't touched the game in almost 2 years. But I'm still part of the community. I still will be active when I need to be. And if they pick up again an activity, I'll start playing again. But people were leaving left and right. People that I knew, people that I remember seeing a lot, they left. But life happens, and I won't be talking to any people that I don't know out of fear of I don't know what they're gonna try to do. But other than just, this is Roblox, of course, so I'm gonna keep my distance from everybody. But I'm still gonna enjoy the game how I remember it.
This is my
Um,
question. Do they have a YouTube channel? Do they have social media?
they did, yes.
They still have that or no? Oh, I mean,
I don't know.
active?
I don't know if they have. It's not active, but
Okay.
they do have media channels and YouTube, and there's even content creators that have come forward. They made videos. They made content. Most of which are not active anymore. As far as I know, I haven't really checked up on them.
If it was popping again, would you make videos on it?
For what? Yes and no. It's not really entertaining enough for to watch. No, maybe not. Maybe not. If the game was still popping though, I would play it a little bit more often. I do sort of miss the game.
I think
More s- hmm.
it's pretty funny that I found it so funny that you had to open up a Google Doc.
Yeah,
You had to
I had
go
to open up a
outside the
lot.
game on a Google Doc.
Yes, I had to witness many Google Docs
That's just funny.
about people who went rogue, people who were trespassing, people who
Like, would you say written vogue? That sounds so serious. It's like, yeah, we have a list of people who went
who
rogue.
went rogue. Yeah,
Who went rogue.
that's what they dubbed people who shot other Foundation personnel, which that's what they were called. Uh, Anyone who was not a Class D, so like the scientists, security, ethics, etc. It's funny because a lot of the code of ethics, which is the guidelines that the ethics committee followed, uh, they followed the codex, which is like general foundational rules, and going rogue or attacking other personnel is one of them, and it's so funny to see who gets it first.
Okay, here's another question. Would you ever join a group game like that if it wasn't so seriously?
I think I would, if it was more so intended for an older audience, would be more inclined to try it out. But I will say a lot of those group games are very click oriented. It's either you're in it or you're not,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how they treated each other. Now, don't get me wrong, I kind of treat other people like that too, and I am not, innocent of that myself. I tried to be open to having conversations with people or talking to people I don't usually. If it seemed pretty welcoming, I think I would give it a shot. And depending on if I like it enough, I may even offer it to our friend group.
Okay.
If we can meet like-minded individuals. We
Yeah.
are a specific breed. We are a specific breed.
Well, there's 7 billion people on this planet. There's got to be more.
It took a long time, mostly for me, because I went the non-combative route, and a lot of people who are good at Roblox PvP, which is very weird to say, it's not any different than like an well, you know how Roblox is like a free cam sometimes in some games, right?
Yeah.
There's like no over the shoulder or no locked in first person.
Yeah.
You can literally peek around the corner and you can have your cursor set on something, and you peek the corner, you click on it, your gun would shoot, you go back into the corner. They would do it round based, and they would get like a minimum of like maybe 500 to like 1,000 damage. I would barely peak like 200. Again, I just was not a great PC gamer. I had a really bad laptop, and because of my inexperience, I just didn't do a lot of combat, and that really hindered a lot of the movement rank wise, because security, MTF, a lot of people were coming in and out, both leaving or ranking up or whatever. If you were good at like combat, you would go pretty far. But because I went solely civil, it took me maybe the better half of 2 years to get my goal, which was high rank. And that was pure chance because the department had to merge with another one. So I got it by literally existing. To put all that effort back into another game, it's just not beneficial for me to do again. Unless it's solely for the reason to just hang out with like-minded guys. That's the only way I would ever join another group game. Would you ever consider possibly doing a group game if like you or one of our other friends?
Pretty much agree with you. If it's more fun, not serious. If it's like that serious, then no. I must would not take it that seriously. Would not be able to. I've tried that before. Like years ago, we did a GTA RP with a few like older friends, like a military thing. And I was not gonna do it. I was like, I cannot be serious about this. It's like when GTA is shooting people. I was like I just can't be serious.
Like this is
Like everybody
this is
else,
just weird.
everybody else was serious. I'm like, I just cannot take this shit seriously. Like in 2 hours, I'm not gonna play this game. I'm not gonna think about it. Like,
That is literally me. You see, in the beginning with GTA RP, I thought it was cool. It's really awesome to see. And I kind of liked the aspect of seeing someone mess around. Like,
dude,
I don't know.
I love that one guy who is invisible to everybody except for one guy.
Oh, and like he's like a monkey or something.
Yeah, like he's something like that. They're like, "Do you guys see that?" They're like, "No."
With that great ending, I think that really puts the final nail on this episode. But yes, thank you for being the first ever guest on this channel. How does it feel?
You yap a lot.
That is the point of the channel. Anyway,
Dang, I didn't
uh,
think about it like that.
if you enjoyed today's episode or enjoyed any of the other ones, please leave a like and subscribe. Once again, that's the last time I'll ever talk about it, obviously, because the video's ending. But thank you for listening if you got up to this point, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. And thank you for watching.